Aide-moi à faire un pas en avant. Je suis en chute libre. J'ai besoin de toi pour me sentir vivant.
Remember Julian Vanucci? I talked about him in a recent video. He's this guy in France who does this cool, like, it's a hybrid between acoustic folk music and rap. And it's in French, and it's awesome. And he occasionally hires me to record some guitars and keyboards for him. Just sent me this final version of this one.
J'ai peur d'atterrir.
This is one where he sent me some simple drum beat that he had recorded, and then I reproduced it on my guitar, and it turned into this really cool thing. But the reason I want to talk to you today is to continue our discussion on production. And today, I want to talk about hooks. Now, if you came to Nashville and set up a songwriting session with a group of pro songwriters, early in the process, it's inevitable that someone will say, okay, what's the hook? Now, I have my own understanding of what hook means, and it could be a little off from what everyone else thinks, but in my head, the hook is something memorable. It's something, when you hear a song, even for the first time, you could walk away humming something. That thing that you're humming is likely the hook. It can be, for example, the hook can be a guitar part, a simple guitar riff, like the intro to my song, Feel. It's just two notes, F, G, over and over, but it's the kind of thing that it continues throughout the song and it gets stuck in your head. My song Lies from several EPs back has this really interesting intro guitar part with this weird octave sound. That became the hook for that song. More recent example from my Fighter EP, the first song on the EP is called Believe. So those background vocals, those are kind of the hook of that song. Ooh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh, oh. The point here is this. Every song needs a hook. That hook can be something the vocalist is singing, it can be the last line of the chorus, it can be anything, or your song can have lots of hooks, lots of different ways to hook in the listener's attention, things that get hooked into their brain and they can't let go of. If someone can't stop singing your song, that's a good idea. So think about your production in terms of hooks. Brent Milligan, who played bass on Someone to Blame, that EP I did last year, he's a master at this. My buddy asked him, hey, when you're playing a bass track, what do you think about? And he said, I'm thinking hooks. How can I just string together a bunch of different, tasty, appropriate hooks to make my bass line interesting and memorable and unique to the song? I mean, listen to just the intro to Someone to Blame. He crushes it here. I mean, it's literally like the bass is singing. He is playing a melody with the bass. It's just crazy, and it works. So you could listen to that intro, and there's probably 2 or 3 hooks that you could listen to and start humming when you walk away. You can be singing the bass. Or you could be listening to that weird synthy guitar part. So there's different opportunities there, and they both kind of work together. The point is, our minds are wired to listen for certain things. We love a good story, and we love a good melody. I mentioned in yesterday's video about the triangle method, how your production should tell a story, should take the listener on a journey. It kind of taps into that whole story thing. But also melodies. That's what hooks are to me. They're a melody. There's something unique that I can walk away humming. You should have, as best you can, a bunch of those in your songs. Different things that are unique to that song that have some sort of a melody to them that I can walk away humming. The more of those you have, in a tasteful manner, the more chances you have of your song being really interesting and engaging. The good news with these hooks is they're almost always simple. Usually you don't have to be some virtuoso guitar player that needs to play That's not a hook. A hook is usually something almost embarrassingly simple. when I launched this production course, there are a few examples of guitar parts I play in there that are so simple. When you solo them by themselves, it's boring and kind of embarrassing, but when you put it in the context with everything else, you've got this little melody here playing off of this little melody over here, and in the context all together it makes for something beautiful and memorable and something that you can hum. That's the idea with these. You don't have to have the best players in the world. You don't have to be a virtuoso guitarist or piano player. Sometimes really, really stupid, simple melodies can be exactly what the song needs. Okay, so you hear me and you probably on some level agree with me, but you're not quite sure how that applies to your music. Here's one example. Let's say you have a song you've recorded, drums, bass, guitars, keys, vocals. And let's say everyone, the guitarists and the keyboard players, are just playing chords throughout the entire song. From the downbeat of the intro to the final chord of the song, they're just playing the chords of the song. If that's all that's happening in the song, it's probably not gonna be super interesting and engaging. There need to be some things happening melodically in addition to the lead vocal to make it more interesting. That's what really great lead guitar players do. They bring in little melodies here and there, and they supplement what's already there with some stuff that's a little easier to grasp onto. As a listener, I'm always listening to something specific in the mix. I can hear the whole mix, but we have this amazing ability to hone in on something specific. When the vocalist is singing, 99 times out of 100, that's the thing I'm honing in on. If the vocalist isn't singing, now I'm kind of searching for something to listen to. So your job as a producer is to give me something to listen to, and a lot of times that something is something melodic. So give me melodies, give me things to listen to. If you make it too difficult for me to figure out what I'm supposed to be listening to, I'm gonna start to lose interest. There's just a wall of sound, and there's no clear direction, no clear leadership. So think about that on the next song that you produce. I'm gonna dive into this in detail inside the course that I'm about to launch. There will be a link below once that's ready to go. But in the meantime, try to apply this to something you're producing right now and leave a comment, let me know how it goes. All right, that's it from me. Hope this was good for you. Talk soon.